Welcome to Eats, Crime, and BS, where we serve up delicious food and true crime stories. Each week, we'll dive into chilling true crime cases, from infamous murders to baffling murder mysteries as we cook up mouth-watering dishes. So, if this is your cup of tea, grab an apron and maybe a flashlight. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as things are about to get deadly delicious. So today's menu is oven roasted quail served on a bed of sauteed vegetables with turmeric rice. Before we even start, unless you've been living on a rock, you know how food prices have just skyrocketed. Well, I haven't had quail for over a year, right? And so I was like, I feel like having quail this week, and I go to get it. Now, about a year ago, I will buy like a six pack for $9.99. Now, previous to a year ago, like 2 years ago, they were $7.99 though. And then about a year ago, it went to $9.99. I'm like, okay, I can still buy it anyways. But anyways, I went there yesterday to get some quail. Yeah, it had jumped from $9.99 to $14.99. Lord help us. I don't know what we're gonna do. Anywho, back to the story. So, like I was saying, today's menu is oven roasted quail served on a bed of sauteed vegetables with turmeric rice. And since we're going to be eating this expensive quail today, let's dive into a deadly Valentine's Day murder that occurred in a prestigious Quail Creek neighborhood in Oklahoma City. So, on the morning of February 14, 2001, police got a call from the posh Quail Creek neighborhood. The caller was Dr. John Hamilton, and to summarize it, he called 911 and said, please send the police, send an ambulance also. I think my wife is dead. And so the police arrived at their home, which was on Bush Creek Road, and they found him covered in blood, with his wife Susan laying lifeless in the master bathroom. Her skull had been smashed in with horrifying force. I mean, it has been smashed in so hard. Police said they could see, parts of her brain. That's how bad this lady's skull had been smashed in. And not only had her skull been smashed in, she had been also been strangled with two neckties. I guess one necktie wasn't enough, then needed another one. So whoever dealt with her, they were really angry with her. Her once beautiful and beloved face was nearly unrecognizable. Now, who is John and Susan Hamilton? Well, if Oklahoma City had royalty, Susan and John will be that royalty. This ultra conservative neighborhood, ultra conservative city, they love these two, Susan and John Hamilton. Susan was born and raised in Sapulpa, Oklahoma. She was the only girl of five kids. Her parents, I mean, she had been born there, and so she lived there all her life. Her parents ran a small town cafe. Her friends described her as, an olive skinned beauty with dark hair. She kind of had that Mediterranean look. They said she had like olive skin, dark hair, real pretty girl. They said she had dark, thick, dark, ropey kind of hair. Not only that, she had the kind of presence that once she went into a room, people noticed her. They would be quiet. They would stop what they were doing to turn and look at her. She radiated beauty and kindness. Her friend said not only was Susan beautiful, she was the epitome of kindness. Susan was kind to everyone, and her beauty, coupled with her kindness, made her unforgettable. They said once you met Susan, you never really forgot her. Everybody who came around her, she made them feel immediately comfortable. She was just so nice, and she was just so cultivated, cultured, whatever you want to call it. She was the kind of woman that would send a thank you card for the smallest things. Susan would send you a thank you card. And not only would she send thank you cards out for people, she really appreciated, you could tell that she actually meant it. They said she was not a fake person. She was just genuinely kind. Now, Dr. John Hamilton, on the other hand, he was an OBGYN that ran a women's clinic in Oklahoma City. At that clinic, it was an open secret that he performed abortions in addition to providing regular women health needs. But he was the kind of doctor with great bedside manners, and needless to say, his patients loved him. They described him as kind, empathetic, and quiet. Dr. Hamilton was the kind of doctor that would do his ultimate best to help you. He would, if you had a problem, he would help you solve it. No questions asked, no judgments made. Now, Susan and John met in 1985. She went to his clinic, I guess, to apply for a part time receptionist job, and that's where they met. When they met, Dr. Hamilton, or John, was immediately smitten. He saw Susan, and the world stopped spinning. Everything stopped. He just loved her immediately. He started pursuing her. He was just so smitten. Everybody could tell in the clinic that day. Their connection, and she liked him too, according to their friends. Their connection was electric. They had a whirlwind courtship, and within 2 years, they were married. Okay. So, into the marriage, remember, Susan had been previously married, right? She had been previously married. She had 2 kids from her previous marriage, and so did John Hamilton. He had been previously married as well, and he had 2 kids that he brought to the marriage. But not only did Susan bring 2 kids to the marriage, Susan also brought her charm to the marriage, a charm that changed the trajectory of Dr. Hamilton's life. He went from being this, I guess, kind of known abortion doctor, not really into the Oklahoma City society, to becoming Oklahoma City royalty, and that's all thanks to Susan, because Susan was very likable. So to the marriage, Susan brought her charm, and Dr. Hamilton brought his money and a smitten heart. Okay, the life together was one of privilege and posh. Their friends said. It was crazy. He lavished her with gifts. He adored her. He devoted his life and time to her. On the wedding day, he bought her a brand new Porsche. All right. They vacationed in the tropics, wherever she wanted to go. Dr. Hamilton made it happen. Right. They held big, grand soirees and parties, both at their home and at the golf club or the country club. Even as anti-abortion protesters hounded him for the work he did at his clinic, and Susan also received anonymous threats in public, the couple put up a united front. And Oklahoma City residents ate it up. They just loved them. Susan was so charming. She just drew everybody to her, regardless of what they thought of her husband's job. And so they finally entered into this Oklahoma City high society, right? And every week it was said that Susan and John, if there was a party going on every week, Susan and John was in the society papers. It was said that if you had a party, it was not a party, wasn't considered a party unless Susan and John attended. Okay, they were the darlings of this ultra conservative society, and Susan was the ultimate hostess, right? Whenever Susan had a party, people would literally, figuratively die to go there. They just loved her. She was the epitome of, I guess, Southern high class hospitality, I guess. But the Oklahoma City, upper class, upper society just loved Susan. She was the it girl. And her and Dr. Hamilton, they became, the it couple. And as the kids will say today, they were the couple goals of their time, of their era. But as the saying goes, all that glitters is not gold. And so that day when Dr. Hamilton called the police at his house to report, his wife might be dead, when police arrived at their home, he was waiting for them at the door. And by police accounts, he was distraught. He was incoherent. He was just so sad. They had to give him a couple of minutes, to kind of pull himself together so he could give their statement. He could give his statement, I mean. First thing police noticed was that his shirt was full of blood. But when he gave his statement, he said his day went like this. He woke up early in the morning. They exchanged Valentine's Day cards. Susan was still asleep, so he kind of left his card and his flowers for her on her night stand table. He had to leave earlier because he had a 7 a.m. Surgery to perform. He performed that surgery, lasted for about 45 minutes, 1 hour. And he was on his way back home because Susan was still asleep when he left, when he got a page. I guess during that time we still have pagers, huh? I don't know. But he said he got a page around 8:50 to return to the clinic because there was another emergency procedure he had to perform. And so he turned around, he went back to the clinic, he performed that. He said that one, it wasn't really a complicated procedure. So he was done in 35 or so minutes. And so he decided to go back home. And when he got home, is when he found Susan on the bathroom floor. He said he panicked and he tried to resuscitate her, and then he called the police. He told the police that he had gone back to the house not only to check up on Susan, but to also get his date book. His date book meaning, I guess it was a little journal that he had that he kept his daily scheduling. So he would write down all the procedures he had to do that day, kind of do his daily schedule. He went back to retrieve it so that he could kind of plan for his day. And so while some of the police were talking to him, the others were walking around looking. And the first thing they kind of noticed was that there were no signs of forced entry in the house. Nothing was stolen. Okay, and the investigators said they've been doing this for a while. So this was the weirdest crime scene they had seen. They said it was really weird. There was really nothing to go on. No, no murder weapon. There was just blood, but there were no bloody footprints leaving the scene, right? So whoever killed Susan really, maybe they took the shoes off. I don't know, but there were no bloody footprints leaving the scene. It was just a weird feeling. And then the investigators discovered the Valentine's Day card that Susan had given John, or that she had left for him that morning. And it read, I bought this 2 weeks ago, so I guess maybe this doesn't seem as appropriate. But I want you to know that I do love you. Have a good day, Susan. And the police was like, huh. First of all, the tone is off. It's not the typical Valentine's Day message. Okay, so that's the first thing investigators noticed, though. They were like, that's a weird card, right? And so they continued investigating. They started to talk to family and friends of John and Susan. And after that, it just went downhill because soon, the carefully concealed cracks in their marriage appeared. Okay. Susan's friends revealed that she had been upset with John. She had discovered that he had been making late night calls to a topless dancer, aka a stripper. And then, although he insisted that, this lady was just a patient of his, Susan firmly believed that he was having an affair with her because according to her, he would make late night calls to her. He was being suspicious. He would be gone for a while. And whenever he's talking to her, he would kind of walk away. He wouldn't talk to her in his wife's presence. And so she told her friends he was having an affair and she was contemplating divorcing him. Okay, so after the police heard that, their perfect couple image began to, be a little blurry, become a little shaky. But in public, Susan and John still put up a united front because apparently this had been going on for a while. They have been tossing about this alleged affair for a while. Okay, they've still put up a united front, but behind closed doors, anger, resentment, jealousy, all the ingredients needed for an explosive end were present and things were about to go to head. Okay, so after all the investigation, John was arrested for Susan's murder and Oklahoma City was shocked. They couldn't believe it. He was convicted of her murder, first degree murder, and he was sentenced to life in prison. Till today, his supporters still say he didn't do it. Her said that he did it, and so nobody really knows because he's insisting he didn't do it. He was found guilty, but he insists that he didn't do it. Okay. So in the tragic love story of Susan and John Hamilton, I'm I'm convinced that love wasn't the problem. I'm sure he loved his wife and not sure she loved him. Something else was the problem. The problem was, did he actually kill her or not? He insists he didn't. She said she did. Anyway, I'm sorry, not she said, the prosecutor said he did. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.